Good morning, fellas. Blue Dream MMA here. Today we're going to be talking about UFC 303 because a lot of action, a lot of finishes, a lot of decisions as well. You know how it is. But probably one of my worst cards in terms of just scoring the winners. I almost got swept by this whole card, man. But it really was amazing. So we're going to start by the one, probably the one that I really did have 100% right. I predicted it to a T, you guys. I don't think there's going to be a much different outcome. I truly think that Alex Pereira is going to win in an even more dominant fashion this time around. I think that Alex Pereira is going to go out there, kick his legs over and over until Jiri just starts, stumbling a little bit, and he's going to eat that hook. I think it's going to happen in the first or the second round yet again, man. I said the rematch was going to be so much easier for Alex Pereira. Poatan went out there and he dominated. Jiri Prochazka did not land anything, bro. He landed a few punches, maybe, he managed to get Alex to the clinch, but that's nothing. Even in the clinch, Alex was the one that was more active, landing body strikes, basically body strikes, body knees, body punches. Jiri was just there, just pushing him to the cage, and he kept getting stung, kept eating leg kicks the whole 5 minutes that he lasted. And at the end of the round, the first round, he got dropped with a left hook. And the way he got dropped, that was pretty scary. But it is Jiri Prochazka. He almost got himself disqualified by asking Herb Dean to help him out. Because it was like this, like, help me up, like, type shit, But the fighter that got knocked down gets helped up. Technically, they're out. They're out of the fight. He managed to get up, though. And in the second round, the beginning of the second round, he just ate a switch kick to his head and broke his toe on his head. And there you go. That was the end of the fight. Of course, Herb Dean wanted to see more violence, so he had to go and rain down some shots, but it is what it is. Now, the co-main event, I did choose for Diego Lopez, but that's only because we got Danige to step in on like 4-hour notice. It did not make any sense. They ended up having the fight at 165 instead of 145 for Diego Lopez because it was supposed to be versus Brian Ortega, and Brian Ortega just pulled out last second, not even last minute, last second, and Danige was ready. He said, yeah, let's do it. And, shout out to Diego Lopez for taking the fight at 155 when Ortega could not make weight, and taking it again at 165. That is insane in a catch weight versus Danige. And I remember I was telling my girl that I was like, honestly, I don't even know who wins this. Like the whole time until Bruce Buffer announcing the names, I didn't make a choice, but I had to go for Diego Lopez simply because he had a full training camp. But honestly, from what I've seen, I really think that Danige could have won that fight had he fought the way he did in the third, because first round he was a little hesitant. He was getting cracked up a little bit by Diego Lopez, a lot of hooks, and he was eating punches. But it's Danige. He's defensively responsible, so he was able to really lower the damage on the shots, and you could tell that Diego Lopez was throwing hard and everything, and yeah, but Danige, I think he was just not 100% confident in his cardio. That's why he went out there and only performed really well in the third round. In the second round, he got put in all kinds of submission attempts. He still lost the second round, but the third round he came really aggressive, and he was the one landing punches. And honestly, I do think that make it a 5-round, and I think that Danige would have won the fight 100%. But yeah, Diego Lopez won it, and I think on a full camp as well, I think that Danige definitely has a chance to beat that guy. And it sucks for Danige though, but he showed he got hard out there, and honestly, the fight wasn't dominant for Diego Lopez either. I mean, Diego Lopez was winning, but it is what it is. He didn't get dominated. Now, Anthony Smith. That's the one guy. Every time I pick one of his fights, I'm wrong. It doesn't matter if I pick against or with him, I'm wrong. It always happens. And he had a fight versus Dolice, and that was an okay fight. You know, Dolice put in work on him the first 2 rounds. Anthony Smith was a little more hesitant. You could tell he was also slower. He kind of got a little tired in the second round. The first round was close. The second round was a little more. Dolice was landing more. It was a little more aggressive. You could tell that Smith was slowing down a little bit. Third round though, Smith went with a lot more aggression. But it was just too late. He was really just too late. Dolice had won the first 2 rounds, and just like that, he beat him on a week notice. Then we had Mayra Bueno Silva versus Macy Chasson. This one, Macy kind of caught me off guard. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. She's improved. She's not top 3, I think. You know, and that is kind of crazy. That is pretty nice to see. And speaking of Dolice, I forgot to mention, he's now top 10 in 2 divisions. That is crazy, you guys. Now let's move on back to Mayra Bueno Silva. So Bueno Silva really, first round, she was more aggressive. She was landing shots, a lot of power shots that you could tell was affecting a little bit Macy Chasson. She was getting stung and all that. But it wasn't anything really egregious, you know. The first round was still close, but yeah, I definitely gave it to Mayra Bueno Silva. The second round though, Macy just flipped the script on her. Mayra Bueno Silva was unable to land any takedowns the whole fight, the whole first round. The second round, Macy is the one that got the takedown, and she landed a elbow in the guard. Mayra tried to go for armbar and everything, but she didn't accomplish it, you know. But what the elbow left on Mayra Bueno Silva's face, though, was a big gash here, a big cut, that when this stood up was a doctor stoppage. The cut was just too deep. Her brow was like damn near falling off her face. It was a few punches away from falling off her face. So, you know, it is what it is. We then had the first fight in the main card. This one I scored wrong as well. We had Yan Machado Gary versus MVP. I did not expect that, but Machado worked with Damian Maia, and that really helped. That pushed him. He went for a lot of takedowns. He was really unable to strike with MVP. You could tell that MVP is by far the more polished striker, although Yan showed that he's way more versatile than MVP is. He went for takedowns a lot. He got some body triangles on MVP. MVP really showed his lack of awareness. Like, it was crazy. He had the body triangle, and instead of trying to like switch, because you know when you have a body triangle, you're like this, right? And when you're the guy with the body triangle, you really try to have your knee to the ground. That way you have control of the body and your foot is not in any danger. You know, and it's really hard to peel it off and to get it out in order to escape that situation. Something that you can do as the guy that is being taken advantage of in the body triangle is you turn to the other side where the foot is and you try to just add some hip to it, you know? It had some hip to it to create kind of like a submission. You know, if you're being real, it is a submission that really only works on white belts, but it still hurts a little bit if you're not flexible in your ankles. My ankles are pretty flexible, so it doesn't do much to a guy like me. But to the average dude, it truly hurts a little bit, you know? So you kind of have to switch every time. But yeah, MVP did not do any of that. He just stayed in there like a fish out of water. He did not know what to do, and honestly, it's pretty crazy to see that he got this far in MMA with no knowledge of how to defend the back at all. But yeah, Yan Gary he won the last 2 rounds. The last round was close. Yan Gary managed to take his back halfway through it. MVP never shook. Like, he wasn't. They were standing. MVP was like this. and he never shook anything. He never tried to really escape. He just stayed there, tried to stand up, and yeah, honestly, MVP's grappling is insanely bad, but it wasn't the best fight, but we kind of expected that. Now, back to a fight where I actually got right. We went going back to the prelims. Now we have Joe Pyfer versus Marc-André Barriault. Barriault really, I feel bad for Barriault, man. I like Barriault, but at least he gets paid because he really only fights on good cards. So I think he gets paid a decent amount. But yeah, we had Joe Pyfer versus Marc-André Barriault, and Joe Pyfer really went out there and knocked him out. First minute he was plotting a little bit, not being too aggressive like we usually know him to be. And man, the second he went in, he went for a head strike that wobbled Barriault a little bit. Then he went for the body. Then he went for a couple head strikes, knocked him out. And as he was on the ground, kind of crawling almost, bow! Landed a shot and flattened him out, bro. The guy was on the knees, and that shot just put him on his face, on the ground, flat. Did not move for almost a minute, but I think he's safe now, so he's cool. Now, moving back on to Cub Swanson versus Andre Fili. The match kind of went the way I expected it to be. It was a pretty close fight. It was hard to judge. But I personally think that Andre Fili won this. And yeah, at the end of the day, I was right. But Cub Swanson is still young, bro. He fights like he's still a young man. But yeah, I think, we obviously know he's not going to be a top 15 ever again. But he's still a really good fighter. I think him and Andre Fili should focus on that kind of fight. Fun fights that, that gets them paid. Just get paid, bro. It isn't that deep. Just get paid. But yeah, it was a really good fight. They really, it was pretty even for the most part. A lot of striking, though. It was a striking affair. Yeah, it was a great fight, man. I liked it. We then had Charles Jourdain versus Gene Silva. Like I said in my video, I support Jourdain because we're from the same city, technically, so I always support him. But man, you guys, he was bad. He was doing so well too. But every time, he would get landed on, clean, he got dropped twice. And that second time, in the second round, where he just ate the uppercut, it was hard to see, bro. I like Jourdain, like I said, but yeah, it was kind of to be expected. But I do think that, yeah, Gene Silva is really good. He's really good. But in terms of pure skill, I do think that Jourdain is still better than he is. But yeah, that's the reality of fighting. It doesn't matter how much better than someone you are, bro. If they're better than you at something and they do it better for the whole fight, they're gonna beat you. Look at Khabib. He wasn't a great striker. He wasn't even a great wrestler, but he was great at dominating position, at taking you down, keeping you down, and just beating up on you. That's it. And that's good enough to be one of the greatest fighters of all time. And now let's move on to the first fight of the prelim. We had Peyton Talbot versus Yanis Gemouri. This fight, it was so short. By the time I missed the whole fight because my very legal stream kind of blacked out on me, so I missed the fight. But I rewatched when it came back on. It was only 18 seconds. Gemouri got knocked out so damn fast, bro. And yeah, it is what it is, though. But we did expect that. Everybody expected this one, so I didn't score wrong on that one, at least. Now let's move on to the early prelims. Michelle Waterson Gomez versus Gian Robertson. Guys, Michelle Waterson is really fighting like an old lady, man. She really was fighting like an old lady. I'm happy that she retired. But man, Gian Robertson is serious. She's really serious. I like the way she's fighting now. Like her striking has gotten so much better. I did not expect that. I really expected the Karate Hottie to pounce on her a little bit, but none of that happened. She outstruck her. She out-wrestled her. and she out-grappled her, finished in a decision. But she showed that she definitely is a high-level fighter. I want to see her versus, top 10 next time. I want to see her in the top 10. I do. Now, the heavyweight fight, at least I don't even care if I was right on that one, honestly, you guys. It was like Joe Rogan himself called it the heavyweight clinch. It really was just a heavyweight clinch. They didn't do anything. They did not strike. They did not wrestle. All they did was clinch and stay in there. Budai won, but honestly, I don't care really. That was really a bad fight, honestly. And now, Rey Suruya versus Carlos Hernandez. You guys, Rey Suruya, he's a crazy grappler, but Carlos Hernandez showed that he's definitely a high-level one himself. Rey Suruya is a really high-level wrestler. He got him in such crazy wrestling takedowns, such crazy takedowns the whole night. Well, the first 2 rounds. The last round was the other way around, and the grappling sequences were insane. They were really scrambling the whole time. The whole time these two guys were scrambling, and yeah, Rey managed to get a few. He managed to keep him in the truck for the first 2 rounds almost. He got him like multiple truckings in order to get the. Like, for those who don't get it, if you're not really versatile in terms of jiu-jitsu. But the truck is a position where you kind of have control of your opponent's leg. And as you roll in the truck, like you have some kind of control. I don't even know how I could explain it. You really need an image. You have control of the opponent's leg. So imagine someone's on all fours, okay? And you're on the outside of that person. That person is on all fours. That's his legs here, okay? And you will come here, hook your own leg here as the outside guy, and try to roll the other side that way in order to really have like control the leg while his upper body, like this part of this body, is on you here. So that way you can go get this arm, get it behind yours, get your own arm, get it around his head, and like pull his hair and get basically get your twister. And he had him in the truck the whole time, managed to almost get the twister like multiple times. But yeah, he did not get it. Ultimately, Hernandez dominated the last round. But yeah, Rey Suruya won at the end of the day because he won the first 2 rounds. And the last round, Ricky Simon versus Vinicius Oliveira. I was early wrong. I expected a 30-27 for Ricky Simon. Yes, I know who Vinicius Oliveira is. I know he's big, he's tall, he's powerful. But I do think that Ricky was a little hesitant. I think he felt the power that made him hesitant. But I do think that he had what it took to beat him. I truly think that had Simon pushed the pace like he usually does, he would have been better. But I think he felt the power, and that made him a lot hesitant. But aside from that, this is the end of the video, you guys. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know of your thoughts, how you felt about the fight. And above all else, like, subscribe, and let's catch you in the next video. Peace out, yo, because I'm out, man.